Yo, what up, what up, what up, and welcome back to Pinoy News. So, I think our courts have become extremely politicized. The one part of our system that is supposed to uphold the Constitution and not be political has become an extreme political tool. We're going to start where this starts at the second, which is the $1 billion against a guy named Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones accused a bunch of people of being crisis actors and acting against Second Amendment rights in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, right? And in doing so, he upset a lot of parents who lost their children in a tragedy, which is a terrible thing. As a parent, I understand. Like, somebody said like something like that about my kids, I'd want to punch him in the fucking face. I would not want to kill that individual. Now, they sued him in a civil court and won a decision for $1 billion. Now, the fact that they won $1 billion from this guy, Alex Jones, is a complete and utter political stunt because the Sacklers, who own Purdue Pharmaceutical and profited massively in the tune of billions and billions of dollars from the drug Oxycontin that caused the opium epidemic, which I don't personally think that's actually what caused it. I think a lot of it has to do with Ritalin, things of this nature, and just drugging kids, and kids ended up becoming drug addicts later on in life due to the fact that they were accustomed to doing drugs throughout high school and elementary school. But, we'll take the mainstream narrative on this one for the second, and say that like literally they caused the opium epidemic and only had to pay $235 million. Literally, they sued Alex Jones for $1 billion to shut him up and hope that he put a bullet in his fucking mouth and swallowed it. That's all this really is. Donald Trump has nearly 10 fucking legal cases against him right now, between the Mar-a-Lago stuff, the stuff in the New York Circuit Courts, the stuff with the IRS in New York, the shit down in DC with him on January 6th, and just all of it, right? And all of these court cases are giant nothing burgers in the end of the day. They really don't have any meaning other than the fact that they don't have any policy prescriptions to stand here and try to defeat him as a political figure, because their policies are not popular and nobody likes them. And everybody doesn't trust their fucking news media. They don't trust the words coming out of their mouth. We're watching people like Nancy Pelosi stand here and profit off of the tragedies and millions of deaths that happen from things like, the pandemic. And we're sitting here going like, what, why? We'd much rather send this guy in and let him stand here and at least try to represent us, because we know you don't represent us in any way, shape, or form. You represent the powers that be. And so, instead of them coming up with decent policy prescriptions and coming up with ideas that will actually, help things, having real conversations with us, they stand here and throw these court cases because they appoint the, judges, and they appoint the DAs, and they appoint the prosecutors, and they appoint all the individuals who are investigating. And this is the easy way for them to solve stuff, because when you have a political foe, it's way easier to defeat them in the courts than it is to be able to defeat them on the fucking field of political battle and in the field of ideas. And especially when you don't have any ideas and you can't get anything done. Steve Bannon, they're calling for 6 months of jail for him for doing nothing more than being politically associated with somebody else. The right to free association has been dead a long time, let's be honest, at least since LBJ. But the fact that they're standing here trying to throw somebody in jail for political association is it's on the level of the communist witch trials, which were real things. At the end of the day, there was a lot of people who were promoting communism. Most of the individuals who were in the bourgeoisie were communists. Most of the rich and the elites were communists because, rich people's kids are fucking retarded. But like literally, they're standing here trying to charge Steve Bannon with 6 months in jail. I'm not sure why. Just for political association. Because again, instead of arguing their points and arguing, the facts or arguing, for like political action, they'll use the courts. It's easier, it's simpler, it's more basic. Gun rights. They know that, they really can't win politically. They can't vote to get rid of guns because it's unconstitutional. So they would much rather go through the courts and take away it piece by piece and bit by bit because it's easier that way. Because they know that we know that they know that they're politically inept. So therefore, they're going to try and use the courts to stand here and break things down. 928 people, Americans, Appalachians, Northeasterners, Southerners, Midwesterners, Utopians, probably not much Utopians, have been charged, Texas individuals, some of them with crimes as crazy as sedition. Now, as much as everybody in the United States would like to overthrow the federal government, a lot of us would like to get rid of it completely as a whole, as an entity, because we feel as though it is grown too large for its britches. Saying that people are seditious for protesting to tell the government to show its work. And when I say that, I mean the same way that your teacher told you in third grade to show your work, to show that you weren't just using a calculator or cheating, to show that you know the material and actually, did what you said you did. They stood here and charged individuals with sedition for saying, please stop. We know that you're cheating. You're stealing this fucking election. We know that you had individuals out here ballot harvesting. We know that you're counting ballots after the fact. We know you're counting ballots without a name on them. We know you're counting ballots, that don't have any identification with it. And that this is a complete and utter shit show. And they said, fuck you, go to jail. Why are you threatening us? You're terrorists. Yeah. Political power used in the courts in the end of the day. It's what that is. Rather than, again, fixing your policies, having conversations with people, actually fixing things, securing up the actual elections, having voter ID laws in. They scream voter ID laws are racist because they can't win. That's the problem. They know that the city people aren't having any kids, and the rural people are. The problem is you rural people are protecting your kids too much and they're turning into city people. That's a bit of an issue. But in the end of the day, we have the numbers now, and they are highly upset about that. And instead of fixing the stuff and fixing the problems and having conversations with people on the other side of the aisle and trying to figure out proper solutions, or even just giving them their freedom and letting them leave the goddamn union and having these conversations going like, hey, look, we are diametrically opposed on how we want to live. Let's have a conversation about a mutual breakup. They don't want to have these conversations. And I mean the oligarchical, like leadership as a whole, the political and the bureaucratic class, go, no, we're going to hold this together at all costs, and we're going to use our fucking court system to do it. We're going to charge tons of Americans and show them that if you stand here and you stand up to us, and if you step to the king and you don't have a sword in your hand, we will smite you. We will cut your fucking head off and leave it laying on the floor. Because fuck you, we win. Va victis. Woe to the vanquished. That's literally what they're saying. It is. That is what the political class is telling you is woe to the vanquished. Fuck you. We're more important than you. And of course, Roe versus Wade. This is just a left-wing problem. This is a right-wing problem, too. This is an oligarchical problem. The group of people running this country, again, have no ability to govern. They have no ability to do so. That's the reality of things. They cannot govern on their own. There's no political will for them to govern. Nobody agrees on anything. We have grown apart culturally. The two sides have moved so far to each side that literally one side will fucking ruin the goddamn country if the other side moves, and the other side will ruin the country if the other side moves. We are at a stalemate. This country does not work. But we don't want to have that conversation because the media and the government and the powers that be have made you terrified of your fucking own shadow because you think the Chinese are coming when all of their boats are basically rubber dinghies. And they go, we have more rubber dinghies than you have warships. And you go, oh my God, what are we going to do about all their rubber dinghies? We blow them the fuck out of the water. And you people need to stop. Hashtag national divorce. I'm Tom Pease with Pinoy News. Y'all know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.